Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. How are we? Good morning and happy Wednesday. How is it Wednesday already? It is the last day of school here for many of our students. So we've got some endings for them, ending of another school year. And I sat with that energy this morning because I do have a youth here in my house who is on her last day. And it's kind of interesting to reflect back from, the first day to the last day. And that kind of ties into a lot of the emotional energy that is still lingering this week and into the weekend as well. I think it's going to linger a little bit. I'll feel into that on Friday morning, but the emotions, the moments, those energy blocks that are being released. I'm just curious as to how many of you have been feeling a little bit of that energy release, those blocks or that stuff that you've been kind of holding there. Have you been feeling it loosening up and those little particles kind of floating and kind of feeling and kind of those emotions? It's an interesting energy and it does have a gentle feeling to it. That whole step back and allow those pieces to kind of float a little bit. There's also with this emotion stuff, it does create this tired feeling or this exhausted feeling, or perhaps you're lower in the energy if you're feeling a little bit low. Like I don't have enough energy to push through my day, or perhaps you're wanting to go to bed a little bit earlier. I in the sleep maybe a little bit restless too. Perhaps you're like flipping and flopping a little bit in your sleep time. It's the allowing of that emotional space. And again, and I know we've talked about this before, we struggle with our feelings. We struggle with that feeling. And then what spirit showed me this morning when I was sitting in meditation, is the physical self and the spiritual self. And sometimes we hold those very separate. And that blending of coming into that space of the oneness that we are, right? You're physical and you're spiritual. And it's okay to allow that to come in and blend, and not hold ourselves in two separate pieces. And when we allow ourselves to kind of blend, we kind of feel all of it. Now, the empaths, I want to talk to those of you who are very empathic, because I feel that the empaths are going to struggle with the remainder of the week. And it's okay to step back and say, you know what, I'm just going to avoid people. I'm just going to I kind of like, if I can, cut back that peoply, because the empath is feeling a lot of other people's releasing of energy. And I also feel that when we release energy, there's a responsibility that kind of comes with that, with kind of giving ourselves that space, being gentle with ourselves, giving ourselves time to think about it and feel it, and allowing those blocks to kind of flow. I also felt like when I was sitting with that energy, I was picking up a lot of that harsh feeling about ourselves. That when we feel like I should have known better than to allow that, or I should have known that. I feel that we need to kind of be gentle, talk to yourself very gently, because we can be our hardest judges. We can, I literally heard a gavel come down in my meditation this morning with that self judgment. Be gentle with that as you process that. If you're needing a moment to rest, if you're needing a moment to recover, if you're needing a moment to just sit back and kind of chill out and allow that to kind of move through. Now, that personal power that is within all of us is literally, I felt it as, this is how I'm going to describe it. It felt like a begging energy, like a begging you to kind of like stand in that personal power. There was a lot of learning through those emotions. There was a lot of growth forward, with those experiences, and that reminder to kind of acknowledge we are here to grow. We are here to learn from that. We are here to process that. And when we kind of soften that energy, our own personal power, it's a little bit easier to step back into it, because sometimes we struggle to step back into our personal power when we're judging ourselves, or when we're working with those emotional blocks that are begging us to be released. It's more of that acknowledgement of, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm calling in my personal power. I'm going to stand in that. I was doing the best that I can, and I still am. The other energy that came back up, and it's been floating around, I think, a little bit in June, as well, is that minimalistic, um, glorious, delicious space of needing less needing less to be satisfied. And I think as we kind of step back into our own personal power or into that healing energy, we realize that we need less. We need less of things. We need less of we need less of what's the word that I'm looking for, validation. We need less is more is kind of how the energy that's coming in to kind of help support us with those that emotional stuff. We need less. With For the empaths, I really want you to just consider um protecting yourself a little bit over the next couple days if you can. Just kind of step back a little bit from social media, step back a little bit from spending too much time in large crowds. And it's because of the emotional release that many people are going to be going through over the next couple days. It's it was kind of interesting. When I sat with that energy, it feels very healing, and it feels, and the part of the reason is a lot of people, and this is a very delicious statement to make, a lot of people are embracing working on themselves. A lot of people truly are coming into that space with that realization and that spiritual growth and having that understanding and being able to process that. We're also untangling right now, and it's a very interesting energy. We're also, excuse me, my allergies are a little bit rough this morning. We're also working through with that releasing. We're also coming into that acceptance space, and that is a step up. It's a step up, and we struggle with those feelings. It's the feeling part that we're. And I was a little bit surprised because quite often this energy does float in when we are in a full moon or in a new year. Quite often this is when this kind of floats in, but there's something going on right now spiritually and energetically with a lot of these emotional blocks being released, and I really feel it's because of a lot of the spiritual growth that many people are doing. So the empaths, just kind of make sure that you are perhaps even smudging yourself, wipe, just kind of, I will often just wipe myself off if I feel like I'm feeling too much. And I'll also practice that observe rather than absorb energy. It right now is really a good tip to give you. There we go. There's the energy update. We're still in those whole emotional block and those releases and giving space to it. And I think that's a big, for many of us, that's a big thing to be able to sit in, that giving myself some space to process and feel and to acknowledge and to release. And that whole personal power. For some people, it's the first time they're feeling it. For many people, my clients this week, it has been like repeat theme after repeat theme. And it's been this topic about stepping back, back into what I want, back into where I'm going, back into feeling those emotions, and back into that allowing space. It's gaining a lot of momentum over the next couple of days. So I think that, that exhausted feeling, that feeling of being really sensitive, is going to continue. In the next, and like I said, the next couple of days, or even trickling into the weekend. When we're coming into this, and I'll probably talk a bit more about this on Friday. This coming weekend is probably going to be a glorious time to just sit by the beach, or sit on the beach, or just sit in the garden, or sit with an animal. Animals are great healers. I really feel this weekend is going to have. I think I want to do a little bit less of that chaotic, because it's just that healing energy that's coming in. I also want to remind you that we never go through our healing alone. You always have your spirit guides, your loved ones in the spirit dimensions are always sitting with you. So and that may be a good thing to remind yourself is, I'm going to ask my spirit guides to sit with me in the garden, or sit with me at the beach, or just be present with me as I kind of navigate through some of this stuff. You're always doing you're always doing the best that you can with where you're standing. And I think that's a really important statement to kind of write down and put it on a post-it note to remind yourself, because the emotional releases and these blocks, the other side of that, is taking back your power. All right, let's scroll up. I didn't get a chance to acknowledge any of the questions here. Good morning. Good morning. Look at all you guys. Oh, they're spotty. I've been feeling a bit unusually emotional. Yeah. If my fibro flaring up, is that release, then yes. Our physical body does respond. Our physical body does respond to the releasing. And anxiety is also a response to releasing too. So if you don't normally have a lot of anxiety, and right now you're feeling a little bit of that anxiety, Just kind of allow it to move through, acknowledging it and moving through. Acknowledging is a really tough thing, and spirit has asked me, many, many times over the years, like, why is there such a struggle to acknowledge and be able to feel? And I often sit with that question myself, and it's like, why am I struggling to feel this, or to verbalize it, or to allow it? And we don't have to bury things, and we don't have to put on that brave face all the time. It's okay to share it. And even if it's sharing it with yourself. Um, Let me just have a little scroll down here. Oh, look at again, Jolene. I do feel the exhaustion for sure. Yeah, quite a few of you are feeling that shy, restless sleep. Um, so tired. Look at you guys. Yeah, tired and restless. Interesting. Already struggling this week with people's energy. Need to ground and bubble. Absolutely. It is, and again, it's with the empaths. I feel like the empaths are going to get the brunt of this the next couple days. And it's also sometimes, and here's the thing, sometimes other people are teaching us as well. So sometimes other people may be going through something and you're feeling it, and it may be like, you need to kind of feel your own stuff too, right? I came in at a great moment. The end of the week will be busy time at work, time for us empaths to keep up our boundaries. There's another very good statement. And boundaries, I always kind of look at it this way with the empath is I got to be able to stay in my own lane. I can help people better with staying in my own lane with it. And it's also a good time to use that teacher within you to help those empaths, to help people who are struggling with feeling energy. Each and every one of us, is here to help people and teach people too. And we can simply teach people how to ground themselves, teach people about those boundaries, or holding space is a big thing, to simply say, why don't you release that? And just be mindful that you're not absorbing it. And that's a big one. I'm scared for my parents to come this weekend because I'm gonna have to stand my ground about my cats against them. They're not gonna like it. So Cheyenne, I want you to is as hard as it's going to be, I'd like you to just make sure that you're speaking from that heart space. Sometimes when we fall out of that heart space, we can have those knee jerk reactions. Try, and people respond better when we literally go to that heart space. And it's okay to say, I want you to hear my heart. And I want you to hear what my heart has to say. And as soon as we talk, as soon as we phrase it or speak that way, people automatically, it's an instant reaction to for them to go to their heart space to hear you. So, and it's, try it with your friends and with your family, and with yourself. Try it with yourself. That's a great one. Say those words. I want to speak to you from my heart space, and then just watch the energy shift. Because whether they're conscious of it or not, they will 99% of the time listen from their heart space. And I think sometimes when we have to talk about hard stuff, how we begin that conversation. I want to come to my heart space and tell you how I feel. It shifts the receiving end of it. When we come at energy with a little bit of I already know this is going to go bad. We're coming from that harsh energy. People meet us in that too. We can shift the energy most of the time, not always, but most of the time we can shift it by how we present it. Right. And I think that's a really powerful statement. I can talk about almost anything if I come from my heart space. It's even easier for yourself. It's easier for you to speak about the hard stuff when you remind yourself that I'm going to speak on it from my heart space. I really want to talk to you from my heart space, and just even if it's nothing big, try that over the next couple days. Just try you getting in the practice of coming to that heart space to speak. You will also have a little bit of a surprise on your own feelings. Right? Sometimes it's like, I don't know if you guys have had this moment yourselves where you're like, I didn't know how much that was really bothering me. Right. I haven't been in my heart space to feel that for a little bit. And it can have the opposite too. I didn't know how much I loved that. When I went at it from my heart space, right? Because we do spend a lot of time naturally here. We're taught that. right? We're taught that from the time we're little with the simple phrase, think about it. Just would you just think about it for a moment? If we could change that to why don't you just feel that for a moment? You see the difference there? Because what we think and what we feel can be two separate things. And that's also on this is the delicious topic. That's also the same for the receiving. If people are only thinking with their physical ears, it's the information is received and processed very differently when we ask them to come and listen with their heart space. And I love that. Give that some practice over the next couple days, even practicing it with your pets if you prefer to talk to animals and humans. But try practicing that, the art of coming from that heart space before you speak it. It will have a profound impact on how it's received and how you speak. It's very interesting because our head brain often reacts very differently than how the heart would, and it can be a glorious partnership. I'm not saying that, it can be a partnership. Partner the brain with the heart. Partner up with that within you. And you can also ask that of other people. Can you meet me? I want to talk to you about something that's difficult. Can you meet me in my heart space? Can you meet me? Can we speak from the heart space? It has a completely different shift. And it's also will teach people how to respond to you with from a very different perspective when we kind of shift where we're coming from. It's a very interesting process. It does take a little bit of practice because we are so depending on how old you are, that is how many years you've been taught to use your brain. And if you can partner the brain and the heart, it would be a glorious matchup, honestly. I am an empath. The struggle is real this week. Absolutely, Shannon. It is huge this week. Um, and it's very interesting. I always find it very interesting how many of you are in the same energy that validate the energy that I do channel. The pressure they're putting on me makes it difficult to let the whole cat situation go. I just need to know if there's something I need to do, and the fear is blocking me from receiving anything. I need you to try that conversation one more time, Shy, with them from that heart space. And the opposite. Let's reverse that too. Reversing that to I'm going to listen to them from their heart space. It has a completely different perspective, and it also so Shy, if they come back to you with from their heart space with the with a no on the cats, you're going to receive it a bit differently, right? So it also has a reverse because we also have to come into that place. If someone's going to share something with me, I want to listen from here. I want to be able to be open enough to try and have an understanding, or to just meet them on that neutral ground, that neutral energy, that neutral space, right? Okay. I've tried to stop allowing myself to feel all the sadness surrounding my extended family as it is overwhelming, and my mind and heart want to explode. Way too much going on. So, Jolene, one thing that will help you with that is when it comes to other people, when it comes to other people's energy and other people's struggles, and when we don't have that understanding why all this drama is so unnecessary. One thing that really helps with that is when you step back into your own lane and remind yourself of this. They're learning lessons, and sometimes people struggle with them. They're learning cooperation, they're learning unconditional love, they're learning. And when we kind of remind ourselves that they're learning, it kind of eases the energy that we are accepting in our own energy fields as well. And sometimes people need us to step back. I'm happy to meet you in this energy, but not in toxic. I'm happy to meet you in heart space energy, but I need that in order for us to be able to heal relationships. And it's okay to take some time out. And that's one thing that I have learned to say it's okay to take that time out. Sometimes I'll use the word obligation, or because it's somebody that's close to us or family or a dear friend, we think that we have to dance in what we don't feel comfortable in. Excuse me, sorry. It's okay to say, I'm just going to go and stand over here for a little bit. I understand that you're learning some stuff and I'm here to help you, but I can only do that from this energy. It's very draining when we dive in and surround ourselves in that draining energy. It's okay to step out of it, even if it's just for a few moments at a time. And I can hear some of you, well, it's not that easy to step out of family stuff. No, it's not. But sometimes it's the best thing that you can do is just, and when I say step out, I just simply mean giving yourself some space to heal and release that energy that you're around. It doesn't mean you have to disconnect. It just means I'll use me as an example. If I'm struggling, I will hit the forest. I will go roll around and frolic in the trees. I will literally dance. I will move that energy through me. I will remind myself that they're learning. I will remind myself that they're doing the best that they can with what they know right now, and I just kind of recharge and reground myself before I put myself back in that space. And sometimes I will ask myself, am I helping by being involved or not? Because sometimes we're not. We just need to say, I'm right here when you need me, right? I'm right here when we can kind of meet in a more balanced space. I also like to send people love and light. Bless them. They're doing the like I just literally I'm gonna send them some love and light. I'm gonna surround them and me with love and light to kind of help support what we're going through and what we're learning together. I hope that that helps you there, Miss Jolene. Yesterday was the first year of my dad's passing, which did not help the emotional drain. And Jolene, I'm sure you felt, even if felt dad coming in to kind of support through that, because I feel that supportive energy. And you're right, it does, when it's an anniversary like that, it adds that layer of sadness and that layer of draining. Absolutely. Um Here we go. I'm just going to scroll down. The self-care movement is growing. I'm so happy. The self-care movement is growing, and the other movement that is growing is accepting that. I think that we are getting much better at accepting, that people need their own self-care too, and that people need to go first. The other thing that's really growing is that personal power, and you do you, and I'll do me. It's very different. When I will just reflect back on my high school years, at grade 7, grade 8, grade 9 to grade 12, physical appearance was huge. You were only accepted into certain groups if you dressed a certain way. I remember in grade 8 getting my first shirt that had the polo symbol. It was a huge thing. It was like a huge thing to be able to have that shirt with the polo thing. Now, are labels still present today? Absolutely. But if you look at today's youth, they're much more comfortable with just showing up with, pajama pants and a t-shirt, or socks and sandals, and they're much more comfortable with showing up as they are, and than I was at that age. Right? There is a, and I know that's a very, very, very simple example, but when you look at today's youth, the movement of here I am and showing up as you are is, I mean, it has healed and bloomed and blossomed in the last 25 years in a way that is so, so delicious. Yes, there's still a little bit of judgment. Yes, there's still a little bit of hard energy with bullying, but I feel, and when I observe the youth that I connect with, or even just youth out in public, you can see that shift a little bit, and you can see it in many different groups, right? You can see it. Here I am. Here's who I am, and there's a lot more acceptance now, and that makes my heart just sing. I think that there's always going to be, pockets of judgment or pockets of not understanding, but I really see the other side of it, with there's been so much growth in acceptance, and I love that so much. Oh my gosh, I can't join for a bit. um Been a rough work day already. I'm sobbing. Emotional release is happening now. Maybe I didn't associate with the work stuff. It's just the energy. I think being able to, one thing that I really feel like I need to say to you there on that statement is, remember that the work stuff is not who you are. It's what you do. This is what I do, right? I think that when we kind of pull in and absorb the work stuff as our own, it's, this is what I'm doing today. The emotional energy that is yours, that you're working through, being able to give yourself a little bit of time each whoops, not hold on, sorry, I just clicked the wrong button. I almost ended the stream. Being able to kind of give yourself a little bit of a powerhouse energy before you start your day, even if it's just setting that alarm clock for 5 minutes earlier than what you normally would, getting up and just listening to the birds sing, getting up and stomping your feet on the ground, reminding yourself that I'm grounded, getting yourself a little bit more into an alignment space to help you with that day is going to be huge for you. And I think when we just, and at the end of the day, and here's the thing too, at the end of the day, being able to do something to release or disconnect ourselves from the energy that we have been in. We carry that. Energy is like layers, right? It's like I always describe energy as dust. You know, if you don't dust the house for a couple months, you've got layers upon layers. Energy is the same thing. So if you're having a hard day at school or at work, on your way home, roll down the window and just kind of lean your head towards it and blow it off or wipe yourself off. This is the work energy. I'm going to leave the work energy here. I don't want to bring it home with us. Energy affects us in in such powerful, powerful ways. If you're feeling a little bit off, and I always say to my mentoring students, one thing that you have to question is mine or not mine? Very simple. My energy or not my energy? Doesn't feel like mine, so I need to leave it here. With love, I need to leave it here. In getting ourselves prepared for our day with a little bit of love, light, grounded energy, spirit guide energy. I cannot, and I mean this, I cannot function in this physical world without my spirit guides. That's why I take them everywhere with me. They are my barrier. They are my shield to help navigate, and everything gets filtered through them. So, and if I am having a moment of feeling, is this mine or not mine? Okay, it's not mine. So where is it coming from? Who have I been around today? Oh, I was around that person today, and they were really heavy. So now I've kind of like I've blended with that, or I didn't. I connected with that, and I will literally give myself a reminder that it's not mine. With love, I'm going to let it go, and I put it down. If it is my stuff, okay, this is my stuff. I'm really struggling with my emotions today. What are my emotions? What is piquing itself to be acknowledged? Okay, yeah. I thought I healed that. I need to go back into it. I need to sit with it again. I need to remind myself, whatever I need to remind myself. And sometimes I don't know. And it's just, I just simply need to breathe in and let go. And I will literally use the natural rhythm of my own breathing to release it. I'm going to breathe in love and light, and I'm going to let go. I'm going to release that energy. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to give it permission to be acknowledged. That was a hard time in my life, or that was a hard moment, or I didn't do great with that, but I was doing the best that I could from where I was standing. It's that constant let go. And what happens is here's what I'm going to say to you. I'm going to say this very lovingly from my heart space is we're really good when it's easy, but we don't set up a regular routine with that. And when you set up a regular routine or ritual with, okay, even though I had a great day today, I'm just gonna self-care myself for a moment, remind myself that today I did the best day that I could. And I'll ground myself every day. Even if I know it's going to be an easy, loving, light day, I still want to be grounded in that easy, light, loving energy. I still want to hit the earth anyway. Because what happens is we will fall back into the old patterns of not having a spiritual practice, and then all of a sudden we realize, oh my gosh, I've been struggling, and I haven't been connecting with my spiritual practices, or I haven't been doing my self-care because it was so easy, right? When we kind of lean into those spiritual practices on a regular basis, it gives us a bit of a cushion. It gives us a bit of a coping mechanism when things get tough, because things are going to get tough. Let's be honest. I'm very much honest when it comes to not fluffy bunnying everything, right? There's this physical world has its moments where it's hard. Right? It's hard, but how we navigate through that hard part, there are coping mechanisms that and supportive energy to be able to support ourselves through that hard time. Right. And that's so important because it's not about a false positive energy. It's about supportive. And I say that to people. It's a supportive energy. It's not a false positivity. This is a gong show right now. I'm struggling with it and it's hard. I know I've got my spirit guides with me, and I know I've got to take time to breathe because it's a gong show. Right. It's a difference there, because I really feel that part of the reasons we bury our emotional energy and why those blocks come up is because we haven't been taught that it's okay to feel them. Right? It's okay. I've talked about this wide openly before. There are times I march my butt right down to the forest, have a temper tantrum, holler at the trees, and then I embrace them. And then I embrace them with "thank you for listening." Right? We can't continue to filter things with a falsehood. Oh, that didn't bother me. I'm going to bury that sadness. We've been taught that it's not okay to feel, and that's why those blocks come up at certain points. We need to be able to process and feel them and acknowledge them. And that is a huge part of self care. That is a huge part of self care. Thank you for listening to that rant from them. All right. Um, I'm just gonna wet my whistle here. Oh, I lost my spot. All right, here we go. Spotty. I've been planning to move to another country in a year or two. Is it going to bring back happiness? Because where I live right now, I don't feel very well neither about the people or the future here. So, Spotty, I really want to say that that is your awareness that your, I'm going to use the word soul contract, or your timeline there is coming to an end. We can feel when it's time to move on, right? And that is your intuition, that is your spirit guide saying, yeah, it's time to start working on the move. But one thing that I do want to talk about is your phrase here, bringing back happiness. I don't want you to wait. I don't want you to wait to find that bringing that back happiness. I would like you to start to try and ease into what makes you happy right now, too, because even though things are hard, I feel like I don't want to wait to be happy. So, it can be something as simple as that bird in the sky is making me happy right now, right in that moment. I'm working through some tough times, but man, that happy. I don't want to put a pause on happy, because there's different levels of happy. I do feel like this move for you is definitely spirit guided. I feel like this it's going to unravel itself, and it actually feels easy. Even though there's a process, I feel like there's an ease to it. I feel like I'm going to ease into that. But with the people that you're that and the issues that are around you, they're teaching you something. So I kind of want to lean into that a little bit. Even if all you can muster up is, this is teaching me what I don't want in my life. Right? Lessons are tough, and I get it. So this is teaching me what I don't want in my life. This is teaching me to have momentum to move forward. This is teaching me, because there is a lesson in all this, and the people that you're around are also learning their own lessons. And bless them. Let's hope that they find a better energy too. You see how that feels different? Tamers, yes, I'm feeling so sensitive. My kitten is helping me right now. Animals are huge healers, eh? So I am sure you guys have seen some of the videos. I've posted them on Facebook and Instagram, with the horses that showed up. I wasn't even there to read those horses. They just showed up in the field, and the amount of love that they were showing me, um, it was really had a powerful impact. I don't usually post videos, like that many videos. The powerful impact that they brought, that unconditional love and humor to me in that moment, I really needed it. It was a long, tough weekend for me, and when they showed up with that, it was a reminder of how loved I am, and it was a reminder of the unconditional. It was a reminder of that supportive energy, and it was also a reminder of how hard I needed to laugh. Hadn't laughed that hard all weekend, and I laughed all the way home. It was about the farm was about maybe about a 25-minute drive from home, and I laughed all the way home. And as I was laughing, I was like, "Holy cow! It's been a busy couple days, and I haven't moved that laughter energy through me." Animals are huge healers, and even just sitting with and watching the squirrels or the birds or your own pets, or even if you don't have a pet, if you see somebody walking their dog, just ask, "Can I just pet your dog?" And just to feel that they're so unconditional and so loving. I love it so much. Um, where are we going here? Okay, there's spring. Yeah, that explains why I've been so exhausted this month. Yeah, absolutely. Brian, definitely tired. Mandy, hi, Mandy. Tired, drained, feeling out of sorts. I when we feel that, that is our own energy calling us back to take our power back. Mandy, I just I'm feeling out of sorts. It's time to take your own power back. That's just a loving reminder, an energetic reminder. I need to take my power back. And being able to sit with that and being able to process that, taking your power back can simply mean I need a good cry. I need a good laugh. I need to remember that I matter too. I need to put a little bit of focus on me. And if that focus on you, if it is only 5 minutes a day, that's glorious. If your focus on you is a weekend, that's glorious. But we have to be able to bring that energy back. And also, when we're feeling that way, again, I know I'm going to repeat something here that I've already said, but what do you need to feel? What needs to be let go? What do you have that's blocked there? And allowing that to flow through. All right. Oh, I almost dropped the mouse. Matriarch astrology. Len, I'd love to hear from my dad and any insight into how he passed. I always think of him. Last time I saw him, I was 9. Um, I I feel like a bit of a suddenness there, and I am in my chest. I do feel like I feel that there. I also feel um I also feel that the energy of him has always been around you. I feel like that support, that energy has, and I also feel that you have connected there because he's showing me that powerhouse energy from the spirit dimensions from him to you. He's showing it to me as a string, that's kind of like from his soul to yours. Is There's that connection there. I also feel what he's showing me is I feel that that connection is getting stronger. I feel like they're coming into a space where building a relationship with him from the spirit dimensions is going to come out with a lot of ease, a lot of aha moments, a lot of connections. When we have loved ones in the spirit dimensions, or even our spirit guides for that matter, we can build on the relationship with them. And I feel you're coming into that space of being able to build that relationship, that connection. I feel like it's going to get a lot crisper. Um, I hope that helps you there. Sorry, guys, my eyes are heavy, so listening but not reading. That's okay, darling. Tropical Empress and Spirit. Oh, I love that. Welcome. I think you're new here. I don't recognize your name. Yes, I have felt it the last few days. I struggle with feeling emotions from a long distance. I think it's known. Yes, you're right, as clear empathy. Absolutely. And I feel that, when again I have to come into allowing that. So when we struggle with the emotions, I think, sometimes, and for many of us, and this, if this doesn't connect to you, then simply just put it down. But for many of us, we weren't taught. We weren't taught how to work through those emotions. So, and even if it's present, or if it's in a distance, or if it's in our past, or if it's something that we're working on that's coming up for us, we're not taught that. So, when you're kind of learning about, feeling your emotions, remind yourself that you're learning this for the first time. Don't be so hard to judge yourself. Again, with that gavel, I know that gavel with that self-judgment, you're learning this, and it's okay that you're learning it. If you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, 90 years old, you're learning it now, right? Especially depending on where you are on the age grid, because generations, taught different things in different ways. So depending on where you are on the timeline wise, you may be learning about emotions in your 50s and 60s and 70s because it was never something that was discussed at the table, right? We have gotten better at teaching people how to work through their emotions, and we're also have been learning how to accept people's feelings as well, right? I hope that that helps you there. All right. I'm not ready for Friday. Vet appointment for mama is going to be rough. I'm not ready to hear what I have that I have to let her go. I'm praying. But I know she's elderly and I hate seeing her in pain. Okay, so Spring, when I tap in here, and again, you always have choice and free will. But when I tap into mama here, I feel she's ready. I truly do feel that she's ready. I feel that even though you may not be ready, I feel like she's been giving you the tools to be ready. It's never easy. And I think that no matter what, you're never going to be 100. We are never 100% ready to let a fur baby go, and we're never 100% ready to let physical people go, like physical humans go. But and I think processing and having those conversations with her, you're going to receive the energy that she wants to share with you. So I think just kind of like sitting with her and just hearing her for yourself and feeling it for yourself and letting her feel your emotions too, is huge. And again, with not blocking how you're feeling, and that's a big one, right? Because I'm not ready to hear that I have to let her go, but you're saying, right? So and as hard as that is, you're never going to be ready. So you got to feel that. Like it wouldn't matter if it was, 2 weeks from now or 2 years from now. It wouldn't matter. There's never going to be that readiness. When we love unconditionally, that includes letting them go. Right, and that's the hardest thing, to be able to tap into that energy, "I love you enough to let you go." That will help. It won't it that it won't take it away, but it will help with that and giving yourself some time to process and heal that and work with that energy. I know I get rattled whenever there's any animal, that is leaving the physical plane. I also lean into my spiritual beliefs, and I know they're truly not gone. I know that I'm gonna connect with them. I know they're part of my soul family. I lean into that deeply while I'm working through the emotions, right? And I know I have a very different view on death. I understand that. Um, but they're truly not gone, right? They truly are not gone. Um, I think too, Spring, when you look at your own spiritual growth, and it has been preparing you for this too. And that cat's been part of it, part of that journey of your own spiritual growth. You now know, without a shadow of a doubt that you can tap into her energetically from the other side. And always remember, it is such it's such a glorious space over there. I know I've been there. It's easier for me, but it is such a profound space and energy and vibration. The spirit dimensions, it's only love, right? It's only that. And it's a love that it's even hard to explain. It's so hard to explain what the spirit dimensions feel like or look like because there's no physical world words that do it justice. Right? All right. Um, let's see here. Rachel. I struggle with speaking about everything that's going on in my mind. I've turned to writing everything down. It's been a great way to communicate with myself amongst the mental noise. Absolutely. Journaling or writing things down is a glorious way of being able to move that energy or be able to connect with that energy or be able to release that energy. It's an amazing way. There's no right or wrong way to work through it, to let it go. If that works for you, absolutely amazing. Some people, will do the self-talk, talk in the mirror. Some people like to write. Some people like to go to the forest, connect with animals, whatever works for you. And Rachel, thank you for sharing what works for you because I'm sure that's going to help someone here. The mental noise, I love how you've given that a space to have a quiet moment to be able to tap out of the mental noise, and we all have our own way of working through that. For some of us it's meditation, for some of us it's writing. The list goes on and on, but good for you for finding a way to work around that mental noise. Holly, I adopted an 11-week-old kitten and he's become very ill. Going to the vet today. I hold him and talk to him and he looks at me with such sad eyes. Can you tell me what he's trying to say? I'm drained. Holly, I'm a little bit worried about this kitten. Um, and I'm really on the okay, I'm really on the fence line here. I'm definitely lower, but I feel like I've got an infection that's moving around. But I feel like that infection started lower, right? So, and I feel like it's just moving around. But I think it's been there for a little bit longer, and it was either masked or didn't present itself, early. And what this kitten is trying to say to you is, this isn't your fault. You didn't miss anything. So I don't know if you've been worried about, did I wait too long or did I miss anything? This kitten's trying to tell you that this isn't your fault. And there's also just this, and I can see the little wee paw, but the little, I don't know what you call the pads of their feet, but those little bean paws. I literally can see that. This kitten's trying to let you know that that it's grateful the time that you have put into him. Um, I feel that, and I'm on the fence if this is going to work out. I really am. There's an uncertainty there for me. So I will send some healing to this sweet little kitten. Um, I also feel like you've got a great vet. I feel like when I lean into the energy of this vet, I feel like you've got a great vet, but you haven't missed anything. I almost feel like what's been going on has been masked by something, and then all of a sudden I'm sick. Really, that's how it feels to me. I feel like there was something that was masking this illness. I hope that that resonates there, and please keep us posted. Let us know on Friday if you're able to. Um, Tamers, I didn't realize how much I needed this today. Thank you, Lana. I felt that emotion way past now. This will make the next one hit a little less hard. Oh, Tamers, you're very welcome. It's an honor that that the live has had an impact on how you process things. I love that so much. I just have to watch the time here, you guys. Um, Rosie, Lana, how can I tell if a sign from my dad is truly a sign that he is okay and around? Rosie, I love this question. So, one thing with spirit signs we often do, we overthink them. So, when you find a sign, and spirit does change their signs, they don't just pick one and stick with it, because sometimes we'll miss them. So, spirit will often send many signs. And what I say to people is, when you see the sign, did your dad come to your awareness right away? Yeah, right, right. That's how you know. What comes into your awareness right away? When trust the gut feeling, trust the intuition, and it's easy to overthink. Oh, it's just a dime. Oh, it's just a feather. Oh, it's just right. We can overthink it. What if it's not? Just trust. Absolutely, our loved ones work relentlessly hard. They prove it day in, day in, day out for me. They work relentlessly hard to let us know that they're there. In order for our connection to grow with them, it requires some trust. The more that you trust, thank you for that dime, Dad. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for coming with me today. I can feel your presence. Sometimes the awareness comes as I'm suddenly thinking about them. I was completely doing something different, and now I'm suddenly thinking about them. Right. So that's how we can feel them too. Is that sudden thought? Oh, I'm doing dishes, I'm doing laundry, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about my dad. Right. Like that's our awareness. That's our higher self. That's you connecting. Every single one of our loved ones is very much okay in the spirit dimensions, and they're all working relentlessly hard to let us know that they're there. If you see a bird and it comes to you and you just have I'm thinking that's dad, right? Just trust it. Don't not trust it. Just trust it. And people will challenge me on that, and I'll say, what is the harm in just acknowledging that someone in the spirit dimension loves you? What's That's not going to hurt anything, right? Like, and the more that you allow that, I'm telling you right now, magic will occur. You will have experiences that you're like, I cannot even explain it because no one's going to believe me anyway. You are going to have magic when you lean in with that level of trust. That is the secret to what I do. I trust it. I allow it and I trust it. That's it. That is literally it. Yes, I've spent a lot of time learning. Yes, I've grown it, but that is the foundation of it. I am just going to trust it. There we go. Um, Wendy, the spirit and my guides have any messages from you today? Wendy, I feel like I need to take a moment and breathe. It feels that simple. I feel like I just need to take a big breath in and breathe. That's I just I That will slow things down enough, Wendy. And it's the simple things. Sometimes with spirituality, with our spiritual practices, we can overcomplicate it. A big breath in and a let go can be huge. Lan, on the subject of coming as you are, have you seen my comment on it? No, Wes, I missed that comment. There's a lot of comments here, so let me run up here, scroll a bit, Wes. I'm starting to wear dresses more and more. They were never feminine nor masculine to me. They always look like something the first few generations of humans used to wear. Wes, I love that. I love that. Come as you are, show up as you are. And that's one thing that I think is hard for many of us, right? And even myself, I had to process a lot of why I was nervous on coming up on YouTube, why I felt like I don't do my makeup good enough, and I had a couple comments that my lipstick wasn't the right color, and I think we are constantly kind of working through that. Then I got to a point where it's like I really don't care. This is who I am. Come to the live or not, and that whole self acceptance, and it comes down to even with I feel comfortable in a dress. Wes, wear the dress. And you're right. Over hundreds of years, men in ancient times, even men now in certain cultures, wear kilts and dresses, or those long shirts. It's come as you are energy, and being able to do you feels so good, right? Get your sexy on, and whatever makes whatever brings you that energy, whatever makes you feel good, spend some time in that, even if it's private time. Like whatever makes you feel good, whatever. We are so hard on our physical bodies, and we're so hard on what being ourselves and being different. If there's something that's different about you, just embrace it, right? Just embrace it. There we go. Thanks for and Wes, you know what? Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. And I think that that's huge that you were brave enough to share that. Kayla, yes, do whatever makes you feel comfortable and true to yourself. Absolutely. I'll tell you something, okay? And we all have something that's a quirk, right? There is something weird or quirky or whatever word you want to use that resonates deeply with us. And sometimes it comes from past life experience. Sometimes it's just part of who we are. Sometimes, like, we need to feel a certain way, and just to have that self acceptance. Just allow it. And one thing that I've learned is, you know what? And I think, we all know this. My mediumship taught me this as well. I kind of reminded me of the a lot. People are going to judge you anyway. People are going to judge you anyway. When I wasn't, out with who I am as a medium, and working as a nurse, people judge me anyway. Whether it be who I was dating or what I was wearing or where I was working. People are. It does. That's their own unhealed stuff. Bless their hearts. They're working on. They're working on that. Right. So showing up as you are. Not everybody has to like it, and you don't have to care. It's a simple statement. It is. It really is. I don't care enough to hide it anyways. Some people do. Some people I will own that when we talk about owning our own stuff, owning our alignment and responsibility for our stuff. I cared for many years. Many years. On what people would think, right? It was all programming. What are people going to think? The world viewed mediums very differently 25 years ago. It's just now that we're starting to open up a little bit and things are starting to shift a little bit. But people judge, and there was huge fear there. Right. So, and that was part of my learning, and I embraced that. And I always remind myself it was meant to be now anyway. I had to learn that, and to be this version of myself. I remind myself of that. I needed to learn that to be this version of myself. I needed to, it was all about now. I truly feel I didn't miss anything by not doing this 20 years ago. Right. I feel like it was all about the now anyway. This is when I was ready. This is when I needed to kind of learn. This is that experience, being fearful, participated in forming who I am today. It taught me a lot, right? So you see how that's very different, and that's what I'm talking about with the different energy. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, it's been 51 minutes. I've got to get my butt moving. Let's move on to the books because it's time. I've pushed it. I've pushed the limits. Let's go this way first. Oh, somebody even mentioned Atlanta. Can you pick a page from your spirit book for me today? Much love. I'm going to do it for all of us, so this will resonate with you. Here we go. Let's just set some intentions on what we need to hear, or ask yourself, what do I need to hear? It's all collective anyway. What do we need to hear? Coyote, lighten up. You're taking things much too seriously. The resources you need are available. Something quite unexpected and not necessarily welcome is about to happen. Rather than fighting or running from this situation, it will work out better if you just adjust to it. Look for the lessons. I think that was something I just recently said. Look for the lessons in the turmoil you're experiencing. Forgive yourself for any mistakes or errors, and look for the gifts you have come out. Look for the gifts that have come out of the experience. Holy crap. Now, the word, I don't want anybody to overthink or overreact to the word turmoil. It can just be a lesson, right? If you're learning a lesson in the next couple days, right? Look for the lesson. Look for the learning. That's incredible. Lighten up. Taking things much too seriously. Yes, we do. As humans, take things much too seriously. I feel like I need an angel number. 520. Trust that heaven is helping you change your life in positive ways. 521. As you approach new opportunities and relationships, it's vital that you stay optimistic and use positive words and thoughts, speech, and writing. We'll see you all Friday morning. I'm really pushing the timeline today. It's like I've pushed it to the max. Uh-huh. You're taking things much too seriously. That made me laugh straight away. Absolutely. I love you all. As always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. Take care, you guys.